Okay, welcome to episode 3 of Two Dads Talk Games. Oh, what an awesome start. I'm Michael.
I'm Ryan.
And we're going to change up the format a little bit on our third episode. Wow, big changes already. So we want to start off like a little segment here where we're going to kind of go through the alphabet. Yay, let's all sing the alphabet together.
Hold on. What if we have American listeners? Do they know what an alphabet is?
Ouch. And
okay,
there
we'll
goes...
start with A. They probably know at least what the letter A is.
There goes...
Because, I mean,
half
even
our
if you haven't learned the
potential
whole alphabet, it'd be pretty hard
listenership.
not to have learned A. Right? I mean, just from a
we are so
illiterate
screwed.
standpoint.
We are so
what?
screwed.
It's a valid point. Okay, anyways. I mean,
Okay.
I love Americans and America. Yay.
Please subscribe. Actually, I did want to throw that out there. I don't know where you're listening to this, but we are available on iTunes or pretty much... What?
Sorry, I just had to clarify, like, I like Americans, but not Patrick Kane.
I don't even know who that is.
Just not Patrick Kane.
And we're not touching Donald Trump with a 10-foot pole because we're not doing politics here.
Even less than Donald Trump is Patrick
I don't even know. Oh, he's a hockey player, isn't he?
There you go.
Oh my god.
And you call yourself a Canadian.
Okay, back at it. We're available on iTunes, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. We've also got a YouTube channel. If you want, you can follow us on Twitter. You're going to find us everywhere under Two Dads Talk Games. All one word, a two, not the word two, and you'll find us. So the new segment we are going to try is we're going to run through the alphabet and kind of just list off a couple of quick little games that we personally really enjoyed that start with whatever.
Games or franchises.
Games or franchises, yeah.
Yeah.
That we thoroughly enjoyed, beginning with, well, A, obviously. So, Ryan, you go ahead with a couple of yours, and I'll give mine. We're just a quick heads up. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about these. These are just like, hey, don't forget about these games. They exist. Because people get really wrapped up in, like, new titles. And
well, it's not necessarily old titles, too. It's just our favorites by letter, and we figured by doing this, it would... Do you want to just start over? I feel like we should start this over.
No, let's just keep it in there.
There's a lot of info in here
this
that's
is
just
real.
It'll be in the description.
This is real.
Okay.
What are you talking about? I haven't done descriptions. Go ahead.
Anyways. So this would be our favorite games by letter, and that would force us to like find some more obscure ones because we've been gaming for way too long because we're old dads.
Old.
Okay.
You're old.
So the letter A, as we established, most Americans probably know. I mean, their country starts with A, so we're good. And don't worry, I will mock all people of all countries equally on this show. So Azerbaijan, you're next. And or is it a city? I don't know. Whatever. I'm good. I'm not good at geography.
It's got to start with an A. Yeah. So next time it's a B. Beirut. You're on next.
Beirut is a city.
Not a country. Doesn't matter. Just get your games out.
God, who doesn't know what Beirut? Okay. So for A, the letter A, I have I believe in the year 2000, it was rated the greatest game that no one ever played.
This is going to be good.
It was by Microsoft. I know. No, seriously. Yeah. Seriously. It's called Allegiance.
I had never even heard of it until you mentioned it earlier.
I think you've probably seen me play it once or twice when we lived together.
Well, like you said, greatest game nobody ever played.
It was a hybrid space sim RTS. So basically, and the graphics were actually pretty good for back in the day. Like they hold up reasonably well. Like you probably wouldn't think the game was nearly as old as it was if you played it now. A quite loyal community has kept it alive up until, I don't know, I was still getting emails to come back and play it like a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
So, pardon me. It was an excellent game. Basically, what you would do is you have your each side would start in their base, and you'd have someone would assume the role of commander, and you could swap it out, whatever, and he would give everyone orders, and he could zoom in on the map and see what everyone was doing, and you'd actually get in your ship and fly around, and you'd have miners that would go out from your base. You'd start in one sector, and there would be little wormholes to the other sectors, and that would make up the map. And so your miners would go out, you get money, and your team would actually have to some of your team would stay back and they'd protect your miners, and the other team would go out and try to kill the other enemy's miners, and you spend your money and you build up a tech tree, and then you launch constructors from your base to go build a starbase in another sector to try to control it and to get asteroids and different resources to build different tech. Like it was a full-on RTS, but all your units, except for the automated constructors, were your players, and you'd have to tell them what to do, and they would sometimes do what you wanted them to do, and sometimes not, and would sometimes be very good at them.
And that's why it's the game that time forgot quickly, because cooperation in that kind of game, it doesn't exist.
It actually, the learning curve wasn't too bad. You could
about-
be just good at Space Sims, and you would be good at that game as long as you just listened to people and stuff. It was an
that's
excellent,
the thing.
excellent
Everybody
game.
wants to be the boss. Who's the boss? Is it Angela? Is it
Not
Tony?
everyone wanted to be the
Everybody
boss.
wants
Not
to be-
everyone
Wow.
wants to order people around and do the RTS stuff. Actually, sometimes it was hard to find people who wanted to be the boss. Other times there were, I want to be the commander.
And you know what those people are?
But then
those
eventually
are
you start
complacent
to
sheep.
appreciate the really good commanders. It was really hard to,
like
to
natural
be good
selection.
at it. It was an excellent game. So check it out. I'm pretty sure there's still, I think it's freeallegiance.org. I think the community is still going.
Wow.
And,
You're going to have to brush the rest of
yeah,
this really
you can get
fast.
it free now. So my other A pick, because A was actually a tough letter for me, but the Arkham Batman franchise. Just
Those
amazing
look good. Never
games.
tried 'em.
The combat is by far the most fun combat of that style I've found on console games. I think it's really perfected the console games. It works well for Batman, works well for a lot of other games that have picked it up since. I believe it may have been originally adapted from the God of War games, which I didn't really play. But awesome Arkham City, great story. The newer games, I haven't even really gotten to Arkham Knight, but I think the newer games story is pretty good too. So, great franchise. And
I know Arkham Knight was really buggy on launch.
one last honorable mention, desperately old game, Anarchy Online, one of the sort of first-gen MMOs in the just post-EverQuest era, or even same time as EverQuest. Great future sci-fi MMO at the time, and just didn't quite have enough to survive, but it was a lot of fun to play originally. Your turn.
I've got four. I'm gonna run through I'm gonna run through mine really quickly. So, Age of Empires, played them all. Thought they were all great. RTS games.
Way better RTS.
There are better ones, but
I'm just
I still
kidding.
really
You
enjoyed
love
them.
those
I
games.
liked the gameplay of
A
them.
lot of people love those games. I didn't.
They're always on sale on Steam. Pardon me. Check them out if you've never done it. The ever classic. That was an interesting sound.
I think that was your water bottle popping.
Oh, okay. Angry Birds. Everybody loves Angry Birds. Gotta do something while you're pooping. Angry Birds is it, my friend. And now it's free. Pretty much
Very
all of them.
dad-friendly game. Many kids will be entertained for many hours by Angry Birds.
My son has run the battery out of my tablet hundreds of times playing Angry Birds.
Also variants, Star Wars Angry Birds, Angrier Birds.
Yeah, Star Wars Angry Birds is a good one. Assassin's Creed, I've played them all. My favorites were 3 and Black Flag. Black Flag because, hey, you're a pirate. And 3 because I found it very interesting, and I'm now beginning to think that maybe I'm actually wrong on which one this was, but I'm fairly certain it was 3. You play like a Native American
Is that Revolution?
No, he finds out. I'm fairly certain it was 3. I could look it up, but it doesn't really matter. Who finds out that you're obviously an assassin and you gotta fight the Templars and that your people have been involved in it since the beginning. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's not very often that you see like a Native American as your main character.
Protagonist. Yeah,
Protagonist,
North America,
that's
we
the word I
generally
was looking
kinda
for.
treat them like crap.
And then last but not least, as a game, I'm sure anybody who's listening to this who's ever actually played a video game has played Asteroids. Old school.
Hated that game. That game made me so mad.
That's like one
I played on the
pixel.
Atari. Alright,
Yeah,
so my madness, my anger towards it is very validated.
I remember playing it when it was like the only thing that came on your computer. That and that stupid pinball game. Anyway, so that's a quick little thing we're going to start doing. Next time it'll be the bees, obviously. So we're going to have to try and dig up some titles because I can't think
Much
of a
cooler,
single
newer bee
one
games.
off the top of my head.
Battlefield.
Well,
Baldur's Gate.
I don't play Battlefield. I have played Baldur's Gate. Bomberman.
Bubble Trouble. Come on, man.
Well, we got to save these for next time. So today's main topic is going to be the debate that has roared on for generations and years, and wars have been fought and blood has been spilled. Well, pixelated blood. Is PCs versus consoles. And you know what? I'm actually going to throw a third category in there. I'm going to throw mobile in there. Because mobile is taking off and people can't deny it because
I'm throwing a little bit up in
Yeah,
my mouth right now. It's fine.
It actually kind of looks like
Never
he is
mind.
dry heaving, which is kind of gross. And if you puke, I will puke. And this will be gross. So, the Nintendo Switch comes out tonight. There's a live broadcast that starts...
Really?
Yeah, it
Missing
started
it?
about 2 hours
We're
ago.
sad gamers. Nintendo, send us Switches.
But it's Nintendo. Also, by the way, Nintendo is not a sponsor for this. So pretty much anything we mention, we don't have sponsors. So take all that with...
with that attitude.
Yeah. So take that with a grain of salt. If we ever get sponsors, and maybe one day, we'll be sure to let you know. You know, those big disclaimers right there.
And if we get a lot of sponsors, we'll do giveaways. Which will get us more people, which will get us more sponsors, which will get us more giveaways.
We wouldn't even necessarily sponsor to do giveaways. If we had enough followers, we could probably pull that off.
Okay, that tangent's done.
Wink. Keep going. So yeah, consoles versus PCs versus mobile. How about we just talk about mobile a little bit, because I know mobile's going to lose this battle right here and now. You can't deny that tablets have been taking off. Okay. Especially with the younger audiences.
I'm just going to say...
Kids.
Right now, the problem with mobile games is that they're being... It's like the pay models become more important than the game content. And I feel like the genre as a whole, and there are exceptions, but it's paralyzed by the fact that, you know, everything's about how do we get people to spend more money? How do we work it like that? Or... how do we transpose a game in a different platform to mobile? Like there's not nearly as much originality as I thought there would be. Like I thought the different input method and the fact that a lot of phones have a decent amount of computing power would lend itself to more innovation than we've seen. It's not that there's none. It's just that there's not nearly the level that I thought we'd be seeing. So that's sort of my take on where mobile's at as a whole. And I feel like it's been getting slightly better. Like, you know, you see less people playing Clash of Clans. Clash of Clans to me is like the worst thing to ever happen.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
In terms of, you know, getting redeeming games with a little more substance to them out there. Like, it's just, oh, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing and I have a limited amount of time and I'll come back when I have more time. Like, it just, yeah, I don't know.
I think you pretty much nailed it there with the pay model being the problem. A lot of the games, it's like, oh, you buy your coins for $1.99 and you get 200 coins, and those 200 coins allow you to speed up one building or one unit by like an hour, and then you're left sitting there still with your 18 hours left on your thing you got to build in order to advance. And it's like, well, this is just a time or money or both sink, and I think a lot of people outgrow it pretty fast. Like, there's Pokemon Go, for an example, like we talked about in the last episode, that came and went really fast.
It's true. That was a huge world-changing fad.
But they made bank on that game because people were just dumping money in there. And my son always plays on my tablet, and a long time ago,
how does he play on your tablet?
I had my credit card linked to my Google Play Store, and I did not have a password on it, because this is when he was still really little, before he ever touched the tablet. And then he started playing Angry Birds, and I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine, Angry Birds. Then I noticed a couple of random charges on my credit card, and I'm like, did he seriously buy things in the Play Store on Angry Birds? Lo and behold, he did. Like an hour later, I put a password on my Google Play so that he couldn't anymore.
Yeah, we did the same thing with my 11-year-old a couple years ago.
And now whenever him or my daughter is on the tablet, they're always trying, in the store, they're trying to hit buy. But of course it's like, what's your password? So every once in a while I get an email that's like, someone tried your password too many times. You might want to check this out. And I have to reset it. So... I mean, there's not much to say about mobile. I mean, that was pretty much it. The pay model is weird. Sometimes you can get your games $7.99. You don't get the ads, and they don't have that kind of like pay to play, which really is what it is. Like a lot of those games.
A couple of good games that don't feel like mobile games, but
Plants vs Zombies is amazing though.
Of finding those games has been ridiculous. Most of the good games I found have just been ports of games from other platforms.
Or like a part of the... Like, WoW has a new app, the Legion Companion app, where you can do part of the actual WoW game in the free app.
Yeah, so a lot of the companion stuff. I mean, it's good as an add-on, but I don't feel like it's... No, none of them are games within themselves. Like, The Division didn't... Like, they scrapped theirs. They were going to have you able to control, like, a drone to play with your friends or whatever.
Oh, I remember seeing that. And I was thinking back when they were showing that... I was like,
Battlefield, I think
that's going to be me playing on my
gonna let
tablet because my computer couldn't run it.
do more stuff in Battlefield 4, I believe.
Yeah, they had commanders they were talking about doing.
Yeah, I think, if I recall, you actually maybe could do stuff at some point. I don't remember. It's been so many years now. What, 2 years, 3 years since Battlefield 4? So, but yeah, I would say so far disappointing. Overall, mobile doesn't stack up to console or PC in any stretch. And I mean, maybe partly because it's so easy to put out something independently on mobile, like easier than any other platform.
Yeah,
maybe it's just flooded by that other stuff, so it's just harder to discern and find the good stuff. That could be part of the problem. But yeah, it's disappointing. Okay, so on to the real debate. PC, console, pros, cons.
The first big discussion, I guess, that usually takes place is cost. So if we're going to look at console, we have to look at what's happened recently. So before, it used to be full on, it was like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Now we're starting to get like this happened a while ago, but like PS3, and then it was PS3 Slim. Then it was PS4, PS4 Slim. Now PS4 Pro, which is like a half step, which only gives you like better resolutions. There's no gameplay changes in any of these games. Nothing is different other than it looks a little bit nicer. But in order to have that better image quality, you also need a better TV anyways. So it's like you're now adding an extra cost. It's like with the Xbox, I don't even know because I don't play Xbox, but now the new one is like, what, Xbox Scorpio or something?
I still think that, if we're looking at cost is still always going to be a little bit cheaper with console. I don't think it's as dramatic as people think because if you're smart about how you upgrade your PC, you don't have to do it that often. And consoles don't last forever. I haven't had a huge issue with them, but I know a lot of people... they last a couple of years and they do have to get a new one. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like with this new way they're doing consoles, it's like you're going to have to get a new one every couple of years if you want to be...
Well, you don't... I don't know.
At that level.
Like, I had no intent to... I don't know. I think there's some people who will get the newer versions of the consoles that are slightly better each time they come out. But I think it's usually more people either who have an issue and then need a new one. They happen to get the new one, they'll get that. Or people who just, jump on board down the road. I don't think there's that many people who feel like they need the new one every time it comes out. But then if they do, those people, then the cost does come a lot closer to PC. But then again, those are also probably the people who feel obligated to upgrade their PC more often. Right.
That's true.
So you have more variation with PC, right? Like if you buy Smart, I would say, you're upgrading your whole system every, 3 years ish on average. If you want to do it kind of budget wise and stay where you can run most modern games fairly, playably, like shooter FPS. Shooters, if you want to play competitively, generally require 60 plus FPS, right? 50, 60.
Yeah, but also a lot of those competitive players, like, for example, with the newest generation of NVIDIA cards, they're like sweet spot 1080p CSGO, Dota 2, like esports card is the 1060. You could even squeak it down to a 1050 Ti. It's like under 200.
60 is the budget gamer card.
Well, which is funny because it even costs more than my RX 480. And my RX 480 beats it in most DirectX 12 titles. Again, DX12, which is underutilized at this point. Most games are still DX11. Once more developers get on board, my card will start to perform a lot better. Especially once it's a little bit more optimized. And I'd say, yeah, you're right, 3 years, 4 years. And you're probably looking at about $1,000, depending on what you upgrade. I mean, there's certain things you don't need to continue to rebuy. I still have the same power supply.
Yeah, but those can go. A lot of times that can be...
That's true. But a lot of newer tech
dies on you.
Uses a lot less power draw. So there's no reason for me to go above 650.
Yes.
You can build out a full system on like a 450 if you're smart about it. Like the new Kaby Lake processors are like peanuts when it comes to power draw.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean it's in that range of, but I think if you're close to $1,000 every 3 years.
I mean, I
would say is pretty reasonable to stay on top of being a somewhat competitive gamer.
What did I spend? I just spent like $800, and that was on Black Friday. The Black Friday Boxing Week, the whole general end of the year time, and I got everything except a case.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, case, keyboard, mouse.
And you upgraded a little more than you had to. So
that's true. I went for not having to upgrade again for a while. Although now with Ryzen, I am debating once that comes out, just selling my rig and starting over. Because this, anybody out there who knows anybody or anything about that is probably just as excited as I am to see what happens with that.
So, moving on.
Yeah.
Now, I think the biggest debate between the two is mouse versus controller, right? Mouse and keyboard versus controller.
Which is hilarious because a lot of people
haven't consoles brought out mouse and controller yet, though? I mean, that's...
Well, you can buy third party. Like, I had that you had the split fish.
Yeah,
which
third
I
party,
ended up with.
which is still not anywhere, as we found out, was better than the controller in terms of first-person shooter. But was still nowhere near the actually using a mouse on a PC.
But I don't think that was because
zone.
of the mouse part. That was the movement stick, in my opinion anyways. It's the keys. It's the moving around with the keys.
No. The mouse input is still inputting input as a controller. So it still has a dead zone, and it still has like different vertical and horizontal sensitivities because, they don't want your aim shifting way up or way down in games. You're mostly looking left and right. So it has its limitations because they're third party, right? They're not really supposed to. The companies making the consoles haven't embraced having a mouse and keyboard input option. I think because they feel like the Call of Duty and shooter genre have gotten so big on console that they don't want. I guess it would feel like people can buy an advantage, right? Like, if they don't ship it with a mouse and keyboard, then anyone with a mouse and keyboard, or just the mouse, I guess, mouse and controller actually is what the Splitfish was, and it worked quite well. But anyone with a mouse would essentially have an advantage over anyone without a mouse. So until they start shipping them with a mouse, we probably won't see it. So
which I doubt they'll ever do.
Well, yes and no. I mean, they are trying to make them more and more like computers all the time. So a mouse as an optional input, make the menu navigation easier. Like, I think they're missing out. They'd certainly attract a lot more PC gamers. I mean, because you have a huge player bases on console.
Yeah, right? But then you're going to end up with kind of what's going on right now is like PC can't play with console for that specific reason, that advantage of the mouse. So if you introduce a mouse into the console environment, you're going to have to separate it again because there will be those people that just don't want to use the mouse. They play a console for using the controller.
But we're talking about a console that came with a mouse.
But just because you have the option doesn't mean that that's what
you're
using.
Yeah, but then it's you're choosing to take on a disadvantage.
But then why not just buy
like
a PC?
You can play PC shooters with a controller.
Who would do that?
Exactly. Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Nobody would do that.
Nobody would do that, so you wouldn't have to separate.
Well, then what's the point of sending the controller?
And then you can combine your PC user base with your console user base.
Well, you've now just said you have one user base, which is basically PC.
But I mean, you can't. I mean, they don't even combine.
Because that's all a console is with a custom.
Each company's own player base does, is separate anyway, so that's probably never going to happen. But I'm just saying, if they really wanted to make a dent,
Rocket League now is cross.
No, did they pull it off?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Last I heard, they did.
I guess MMOs are cross. A bunch of MMOs are on console and cross.
Yeah, games now where it's like there's no distinct difference. I mean, who are we kidding?
There's no actual.
They're basically the same.
Games.
Like they're basically the same.
Although, interesting case, Xbox 360, I think. Anyways, Rainbow Six Vegas, and I believe Vegas 2. The Xbox players had to play against the PC players. And they just got slaughtered.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's weird.
It was, and I mean, especially in a game where it's like almost 100% Twitch. I mean, even with aim assist, like it was just unfair. Like,
you pretty much have to just give them aim bots.
Yeah.
To put them on even an equal playing field.
Yeah. No, it was ridiculous. So,
Brutal.
Again, just give console a mouse, and I might actually buy a shooter for console.
You'll
I
still
bought
play
Destiny.
on your PC.
I
You'll
bought
still
Destiny,
play on your PC.
But
quit lying to
I
yourself.
didn't really enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, and I would have enjoyed it a lot as a PC game.
I played a decent amount of Destiny actually. I didn't play any of the expansions. I kind of lost interest fast. It got really boring. Well, being that we are both dads, we should probably touch on this. What is like our opinions on what's better for children? Like, is it better that they have the ability to use a computer, which can also be used for a multitude of other things, which I guess isn't really a good argument because we're strictly talking about games. I don't really know where I stand on that one. My son has only ever played tablet, and now he's a little bit into the NES Classic a little bit. I say a little bit. He would probably sell his sister for an extra 5 minutes before he goes to bed in order to play.
You can get a lot for a little half Japanese baby.
Yeah, kids on the market these days, they go for quite a bit. So he's quite into it, but so he's never even touched a computer. He's never even touched the PlayStation. I mean,
see, whereas my 2.5-year-old is like the opposite. He loves my laptop. He calls it his computer.
One day.
I splurged and I got a touchscreen laptop because I thought it'd be handy for work and whatnot. And it was actually good for him because when he, in terms of learning how to do stuff on it and move things around, because, when he wasn't good at controlling the mouse at first. Of course, now he controls the mouse perfectly, which is interesting.
At 2.5.
At 2.5.
When you and I were 2.5, we were like still crapping in our pants.
Oh, he knows how to exit Overwatch and games and then turn the computer off when he's done. So he's well trained. He cleans up after himself.
Wow.
Sometimes too much. Sometimes he leaves the game on and then turns the computer off. And I'm like, no. Then it takes forever to turn back on. Anyways. Yeah, it's interesting because, you have different levels of dexterity. He has a lot more trouble with the controller and understanding that input. And it's funny, he can move around in first-person shooter games really easily where he just has to press W for his movement and then just move the mouse to look around. That he can handle just fine. But like any games, Diablo-style games where you point and click and move around and things like that, he has a lot more trouble with. Like, he just doesn't get it. He's used to I think it's just what he's used to.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So,
it only took my son like an hour to figure out the NES controller. At first, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I do this? I was like, Ethan, you gotta learn just the way we did. We didn't have anybody to teach us how to do it. It was.
We also didn't even have NES when we were 5.
Well, that's true. I mean, let's go play soccer. Okay, that's fine. Let's go play tag. Even like what? But
it's interesting. What did you play more of growing up? When did you get your first PC that you played games
on? Pre-PC actually, we got like a type program that was all you could do on it was like type, and then we got our first PC and it was like Minesweeper and Pinball and like the built-in Windows games. I think the first physical game I ever got was actually the Warcraft 1 freebie disc that gives you like 2 levels. And I don't know how many times I played those 2 levels, but the disc stopped working.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's like
I
and
played it out.
VHS copy of Top Gun. Just
Wow.
can't get enough of that volleyball scene.
VHS. Wait, that was the one. That was Tom Cruise, wasn't it? I don't even think I've
Val
ever seen
Kilmer.
that. Wait, Top Gun?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of?
What are you thinking of?
The one with Tom Cruise and he's like Goose.
That's Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
That's
did
what I'm
you
saying.
not know
I
Tom
killed my
Cruise was in
VHS
there?
because I watched Top Gun too much.
Oh, okay. Wait,
I loved fighter jets, not because I loved homoerotic volleyball scenes.
Yeah. Wink.
Oily Val Kilmer. Whatever, it's fine.
We all know you got married just to hide it.
Anyway.
Moving right along.
So, I'm trying to think back, and I'm not even sure the timeline of everything. But, I mean, I know I had the NES and the Super NES. And then I had the PC at some point in there. Like, I played the original Civilization and XCOM and the Wing Commander games, all kind of around that early, and Doom 1, Mr. Doom 3.
Hey, I played Doom 1.
Okay, Wolfenstein 3D.
I mentioned both of those games in our introduction episode, actually.
So, I mean, what did you play more? I think I've actually played more... I played a good amount of both, but I think Super NES probably trumped everything for quite a while. I feel like Super NES was that great level of where the graphics were good, but they weren't going to carry a game, you know? Like N64, I think, really upped what graphics could start to do.
Oh, yeah.
And how real things started to look, or realish. Whereas, I mean, nothing looked... There's no 3D in Super NES. So you really had to have good gameplay, right? And the amount of things you could do with the gameplay was much higher in Super NES. But then console all along was kind of...
It's always a little bit behind. I mean, a lot of games...
A little bit behind, but also a little ahead, right?
Well, that's true. I guess console was kind of bigger for games in the beginning, because computers... There was games, but they were still like...
Yeah, bigger for number of games.
Work tasks and things like that. It was more of like a work machine. Yeah. And then as it caught on more and more, people were like, hey,
it'd be tougher for games to get big on PC.
That's true. Not anymore. Now it's like, if you have a bad release on PC, the game's done. They'll never port it. It'll just be like...
Yeah. No, but I mean, that's what I mean. Like, there were fewer big games that we all played. Like you know, Diablo, everyone played. And whereas there's a lot more games on consoles that everybody played. Did
not play Diablo 1 until Diablo 2 came out.
What is wrong with you?
Never played Diablo 1. That was all. How do
you... So you never got a King's Sword of Haste until you'd already played Diablo 2.
I hadn't played Diablo 2 yet.
Ridiculous.
I got Diablo 2 and I was like, maybe I should play Diablo 1.
No.
So I played Diablo 1.
You're like, I don't
Then I
played
Diablo 2. Then I stopped playing both. Then 3 came out. I put way too much time into 3, and now I'm done.
I put a reasonable amount of time into 3. I just get bored of the Diablo games. I play Marvel Heroes now. It's better.
It hurt my finger.
I get bored, but at least I get bored playing Marvel and Iron Man. It's good.
At least I get bored looking at things that I like.
And my 2.5-year-old can be Hulkbuster Iron Man, and he's happy.
So, there you go.
Big Hulk bust.
What were we talking about?
Consoles.
Oh, yeah, right. I had NES.
Versus cooks.
Consoles versus cooks versus cons. I had NES and then Super NES. We only had like 1 or 2 games because we didn't have a lot of money. And then I had Nintendo 64, and that was when I really, really got into it. Mario Kart, Super Mario, and like I mentioned last time, Duke Nukem. Those were like my 3 games, and that's all I played. And then I kind of
did you have the Mario Kart battles with your buddies?
Yeah.
See, now I remember you having that, and that was great for elementary when you'd have like play dates and things like that, right? You have your buddy over.
Elementary, that was like early high school. Or late. Oh no, I guess.
Oh yeah, maybe early high school too, right? Into NES. You are a bit younger than me. Less in your 30s than I am.
What did you say?
Less in your 30s than I am.
I am just about to turn 31, so.
Yeah, what are you less in your 30s than I am.
Just about like 43 over there.
In your 30s than I am.
Less annoying.
How are you disputing this? It's
I am
a completely
in my 30s.
Accurate statement. It's not even ambiguous.
You are not.
Or misleading in any way. So, therefore...
But yes, I know you are.
So, consoles, right? Like, you can have your buddies over, you can have fun. PC is harder, right? I mean, there are some games which you can have your buddy over and play, but
I remember
really, the idea of the PC is to play with someone else at a different location.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So, I mean, that's definitely a con, like or a pro, well, depending on which one. And I noticed it with my 11-year-old, right? So I have the PS4, I moved the PS3, which I have way more games for, obviously, because PS4 hasn't been out that long, into the living room, so that way he can play those games with his buddy, right? When he comes over and stuff, and he does that. So, I mean, that's kind of neat, because he probably plays more on the PC, but he has the console to play with his friends and get a little more physical, direct interaction as opposed to, I mean, you do get social interaction, gaming online and whatnot, and I do think it's provided a good thing, you utilize, but it's not the same tools. As in person, right? Yeah, it's true. Not everyone does.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about like being able to play with your children, obviously console's going to win out in that area because I mean, you got 2 controllers, you sit one
or
foot,
you just have a laptop beside you.
Well, okay, regardless,
and they fight over it.
Regardless, though,
I'm mad.
It's more the idea of sitting beside somebody while you play. And you have to admit the console is the better platform for that because it's one system, two controllers, whereas you have to have two completely separate computers so you can play together. Now, admittedly,
not better when your 2.5-year-old is way more adept with a mouse than a controller.
Well, okay, get him on that controller then.
Maybe I should.
Got to get one of those NES Classics.
Maybe
get him
I should get him outside more.
Or
actually, I do. He enjoys being outside. He's very well rounded, and not in a rotund way. He's actually small for his size, except his head, which is huge. Anyways,
you take the NES Classic outside with an extension cord.
That's not what I meant, although that's a good idea.
And you get a projector, because you guys have that big white wall in your driveway, and you just sit in chairs and you project it on the wall, and you play Kirby life size. And you scare the crap out of
it looks like
little
he's
kid.
sucking in animals.
Exactly.
Yes.
And as your wife walks by, she makes that big sound and it freaks her out.
But, yeah, it's interesting looking back, right? Because we all have, old gamers, gamer dads, have the Mario Kart stories.
And moms.
Gamer people. Older gamer people. The Mario Kart stories. The Smash Brothers stories, right? I mean, they were awesome party games. Mario Party was an awesome
I was going to say
game.
Mario Party. That was a good one.
Still is actually not a bad party game. I think we have it for the Wii. It's kicking around one of them.
The Wii.
But, and your console, not nearly as hard to set up as a daisy-chained LAN network. So you can also get Wi-Fi in your bedroom. Oh my god.
That's true. Good times.
Sorry, lamenting the days where I had to fix the network at the LAN cafe I worked at briefly. You worked at for a long time.
Good times.
Yeah. Once I got there and could fix the network.
I didn't know much at that time. All I knew is I loved computers. I knew about hardware, but I didn't know about fixing anything. I was more into games.
Things have gotten a lot easier. I still hate printers. Not as much as fax machines, but a close second.
Fax machines?
Oh my god.
When was the last time you faxed something?
Probably when I worked at the internet cafe when we had to fax things for people.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I'll give you... And that was, 10 years ago?
To be fair, the latest iteration of fax machine scanners are not much more awesome to use. They're still... Oh my god.
I have one. We have this one at our work, fax machine...
Does it work well? Or is it retarded?
It has a fax function.
Retarded.
But I don't think
I can only say with the Boston accent. It's not my fault. That's a disclaimer. And if you're going to continue listening, it's just something people are going to have to accept.
I don't think I've ever pushed the fax button on that machine. Usually what I end up doing is if I scan something, I scan it to my email, and then I just email it to whomever. But, what does PC load letter even mean? Who has a fax number? It's like when you buy those printer, scanner, faxer all in one.
What's unbelievable is nobody has a fax
Best
number
Buy and is like, I need a new fax
and
machine.
At my business, I get more spam fax phone calls per day than I've ever gotten any other sort of spam of any type, email included. It's like, who are these people who think they're gonna get through to, let alone follow up on their faxed in?
They're doing it because that's
vacation deals.
That's probably the only fax machine in the city. That's why you're getting all the spam, is because they're like, oh my god, this guy actually has a lasting fax machine. We gotta take advantage of this. We gotta get him the cruise info. We gotta get him the Mount Kilimanjaro climbing info. They want to shove those holidays down your throat because you're the only guy in town with a fax machine.
But I don't have a fax machine. That's the point. I have a phone, and I pick it up, and it to my ear.
Oh, so it was formerly a fax number.
I think at one point, the previous owner, 20 years ago, had a fax machine. And forever will we have spam since. So, lesson be learned, kids. Don't ever have a fax machine. It's basically like signing up your email to a porn site.
Our kids won't even know what a fax machine is. By the time they're older, your 11-year-old might have an inkling as to what it is, or might pick it up in a couple of years. But
I guess a fax machine is the equivalent of maybe not a rotary phone, but a corded phone. Why would your phone have a cord, Dad?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. By the time our kid,
God, we're gonna have good stories.
By the time our young ones are older, it'll be retro to have a fax machine. It'll be oh my god, you hand wrote a note? And then you sent it through the phone line to your friend. It's you know what? When I was younger, I actually put things in the mail to get it to somebody that I wanted to get to. There wasn't even a fax machine.
Yeah, we never called it snail mail. It was just mail.
Yeah, it was just mail.
I'm pretty sure for the first few years of people calling it snail mail, I did not know what they were talking about. And I just assumed it was mail. I'm just what are you talking about? Snail mail. what? I'm pretty sure I did not put two and two together for a few years. I'm like, oh, like mail?
I have to admit, like, when I got into, like, the PC scene...
It's ridiculous.
For some reason, I never got into, like, email. I was like, oh, this just seems so stupid. It's like, But then again, I never sent a lot of mail. I was a kid. I was like, oh, why do I need to handwrite a letter? I'll just phone the person.
No, you gotta be on top of that. You know, MSN, email.
Well, I did MSN,
Hotmail,
I did ICQ.
And then eventually you realized that your
it.
Hotmail was going to be impossibly bombarded with spam no matter how new it was. So you had
or
to
the name was terrible and you were trying to apply for a job.
Google was a lot less hateable than Microsoft.
That's true.
So you're like, yeah, Gmail. And see now, who is going to be our corporate overlords in the future? Is it going to be Google? Is it going to be Amazon? Is it going to be Microsoft outside shop? Probably not.
I think it's going to be a conglomerate
or is it going to be Facebook?
Of like 2 or 3 companies. I don't think
We're all going to have to pick a tribe and fight to the death.
I think Facebook will take over social media. That will be like the social media platform. I think Google will basically be like the Internet of Things. And Amazon will take over the consumer market. And it will be those 3 in a perfect Illuminati triangle. Oh, I said it. That covers the entirety of the internet.
And...
Twitter and Facebook.
Well, Facebook's going to buy Twitter.
Or Faster.
No, I'm pretty sure Twitface is better.
Twitface, yeah, okay. Yeah, you wouldn't want to call it
Zuckerberg. It's copyrighted. Coming to me.
That's ours. Okay, well, I think that's a good place to leave it, even though we really didn't come up with a be-all, end-all, but that's for you to decide. I'm always going to be a PC gamer, but I do enjoy my console, and my son enjoys playing with the NES.
Yeah, I think considering we both play a lot of both, I guess the consensus is that...
play what you want.
Both have their strengths, and...
both have their weaknesses.
Yeah. Consoles... good for certain situations, and PC's good for others, and yeah.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really get very far with that one, did we?
No, we didn't.
But it's entertaining.
Okay, well, that's a good place to leave it, so we hope you all had a good time listening, and we will talk to you in the next one. Oh, I did just think of one thing, though.
You ruined my outro!
But it's a good way to end it. There's one thing you can't do on a console that you can do on a PC. Porn.
Wait.
Oh, wait, no, you can do that now, can't you?
Yeah, they're computers now. You can porn on a console.
Porn everywhere.
Someone could porn on a console.
Exactly. Someone
has done it. We've never tried it.
Okay, bye.